Today on Steve's Garage, I'm going to show you how to change the oil on an SPA XC90. The car I'm working on is specifically a T6, though this video will also apply to a T5. While the B5 and T8s use the same 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, the procedure may look a little different because of the hybrid system. I don't have any experience working on the hybrid models to know for sure, but if you have a hybrid and you use this video, definitely leave a comment and let us know. There are a couple specific tools you'll need for this job, so I'm going to cover everything before we get started. Arguably the most important is the oil filter socket CTA tool 2488. If you plan on changing your oil long term, just pick one of these up. Don't try to use channel locks, it'll just be more trouble than it's worth and you'll end up destroying the filter housing. 17mm socket or wrench, T30 Torx bit, 6mm Allen, ratchets, a pick tool, a torque wrench, an oil filter of your choice, brake clean, and lastly OW20 oil. Volvo recommends Castrol Edge Professional, but the only place I've been able to find this in the US is eBay or IPD. You don't have to go with this specific oil. If you want to go with something else, just make sure it meets the specs. Pretty much any high quality synthetic will do. The first thing you need to do is remove the splash shield or belly pan. While I could actually fit underneath the car fine, when you take into account having to work and get this thing out of your way, I did end up lifting it a little bit. I just needed some breathing room. There are a total of 10 T30 screws holding this thing on, and yours may or may not have 2 small push clips on the front and the back. Mine did not, so I can't show you that today, but they're right in line with the bolts. You'll see them if they're there. Pop them out, and that'll be the last thing holding this thing on, and you can get it out of your way. Now you can access the drain plug, which is on the rear of the pan towards the passenger side. Using the 17mm socket or wrench, undo the drain plug, and be ready for the oil to come out with some force behind it. You'll need the drain pan further back than you think, and it will get all over that lower mount. While you let the oil drain, it's a good time to inspect the drain plug and replace the crush washer if needed. I typically don't replace it every time, though there's no harm in doing so. I just typically keep a few on hand and swap it out if needed. Once the oil is completely drained, you can reinstall your drain plug, which gets torqued to 38 Nm or 28 foot-pounds. While I feel comfortable not using a torque wrench on a drain plug, there's absolutely no harm in doing so. Now it's time to move on to the oil filter. There's a small drain plug on the filter housing itself. Remove that using your 6mm Allen, and while it drains, you can replace the O-ring on that drain plug. It should be included with your new oil filter along with the O-ring for the filter housing. Once that slows to a drip, you'll want to reinstall before removing the filter housing. The first time I changed the oil, I made the mistake of thinking there wouldn't be much oil left in the housing since there was a drain plug, and I made a huge mess. So don't make the same mistake I did. The drain plug gets torqued to 4 Nm or about 3 foot-pounds, and while that's obviously a very low spec, being that it's a bolt in a filter housing, I didn't want to over-tighten it. With the drain plug reinstalled, you can remove the filter housing with minimal mess. There will be enough oil in it that you'll need to dump it into the drain pan, and there will be some residual drips from the engine, but there will be no oil coming out of the drain plug hole and getting into your filter socket and ratchet and everywhere else. Now we can head back over to the workbench to swap out the filter and the O-ring on the housing. The old filter should pull out pretty easily, and I like to wipe out the housing just to make sure there's no buildup or anything weird going on in there. Remove the old O-ring with your pick tool, pop the new one on, press the new filter into the housing, and you'll hear it click into place when it's properly installed. The bottom of the filter housing has torque specs for both the drain plug and the filter itself. The housing gets torqued to 25 Nm or about 18 foot-pounds. I've actually never torqued an oil filter, so don't feel like you have to, but again, there is absolutely no harm in doing so. Reinstall your filter, and at this point, we are done underneath the car. If you'd like to, you can reinstall your belly pan, or wait if you want to put the oil in and check for leaks after running the car. For now, let's move back up top and start adding oil. When it comes to adding the oil, you can use something like a stubby funnel, but I really suggest using the no-spill funnel from CTA Tools. The adapter, CTA 4328, screws onto the oil fill, and the funnel, CTA 7471, slides right into it. With how recessed the oil fill is into the engine cover and it having those typical grates like Volvo likes to have, this thing makes your life way easier. I've got a couple links in the description, so if you're interested, head over there and pick some up for yourself. The T6 calls for 6 quarts of oil, so that's what I'll be adding today. Once that's all done, we can go inside the car and check the level and reset your service light. I'm sure at this point you know that this car doesn't have a physical dipstick, and in order to check the oil level, you actually have to start the car. I know for me, it seems really weird to start a car after an oil change and not check a physical dipstick first, but here we are. So start the car, swipe left on the home screen to access the vehicle menu, select Car Status, From there, click on Status, and that will show you your oil level. Towards the bottom of that page, you'll also see the service reminder in days and miles left until your next service. Chances are it will show full because you've added 6 quarts of oil and that's what's required, so I don't know why it wouldn't show full, but I like to double check. To reset the service light and service reminder, press and hold the down button on the left side steering controls and start the car. Wait for the little eye to start blinking. Release the button and you should be all set. If you go back into that menu, the number of days until your next service should say 360 and the miles should be around 9,900. Also, the next time you start your car, you shouldn't see that little service reminder light. With the car running, it's not a bad idea to take it for a spin around the block and check for any leaks. If you haven't reinstalled your belly pan, you can do so now. It's just the opposite of removal. The biggest pain is balancing the whole thing while you get some screws in and get it secured up into place. And that's all there is to it. While there may be some extra steps compared to your typical oil change, it's still a pretty straightforward job and something you can easily do at home to save some money. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and if there's anything you'd like to see me cover on an XC90, leave a comment. I'm just filming jobs as they come up, but I'm more than happy to make some specific videos if they'll help out some XC90 owners. If you enjoyed this video, think about subscribing so you don't miss any future videos, and for now, you can check out my playlist of other XC90 tutorials. Thanks for watching.